What's good? Mic check. Yo, got a little bit of time. Gonna do a quick stream. What's up? This is the first time I've gone live since I've rebranded the channel. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Got I'm just gonna. It's kind of like working out. I haven't streamed in a while, solo in 2 months. I did a stream with Peter the other day. Peter from Peter and Jen, generational change. Big ups to them. And yeah, he kind of brought me back in the game. Peter hit me up, and he had no idea I hadn't been streaming in a while, other than AI slop. I'm still I'm still working on it. Bear with me, Cyan. Bear with me on the AI slop. But I'm just joining the club. Have you been on YouTube lately? It's like there's a lot of AI slop. Um, so let me join the club. But Peter hit me up and was like, "Yeah, let's. We haven't streamed in a while. Let's do it." And it just so happened the stars aligned because I was coming home from work early that day anyway. I was like, "That's weird." Okay, because normally I would have had to say, "Nah, bro, I can't. It's too early for me." But we did it. So and then he kind of got me back in the game. So I'm just gonna do a little stream here. It's kind of like lifting weights. You kind of I don't know how y'all if you anybody who lifts weights when you haven't been in the gym for a while. I tend to go light the first week. It's brutal and it's tough too because and especially as I'm getting older because I'm going back and looking at like damn it's hard not to think when I was younger I could do more and then now it's been a while so I can't even do what I can normally do now and then on top of that I'm like lifting like an old woman but you got to kind of go with what ease into things and that's kind of what I'm gonna do today. This is the first stream. A lot of people couldn't find the channel. That's kind of by design. I have completely left the MAGA circle as far as like repping it or whatever. Who cares? Whatever that means. But the channel's no longer middle MAG. If you couldn't figure that out, so I went with Index Red. I'm a big fan of the X Files, and I kind of was like, let me brainstorm something that's not biting the X Files, but kind of hits where I'm at. So this I just went with Index Red. Doesn't really mean anything other than that. I do kind of view my videos as indices. So it could be like every segment is an index, you could say. And red is just to hit the serious. When you think of red, you think blood. But I'm obviously peaceful. I don't want bloodshed. But um, obviously, you see bloodshed all over the world. Whether you want bloodshed or not, blood will be shed, and that's the seriousness of the moment. So that's really the whole story behind Index Red. It was interesting me with Peter because I hadn't seen the channel in a while. Peter came with a little different energy, and they've been blowing up. I'm not, if you follow my channel, I have no surprise about that. I've said that they would blow up, and and they're not even there yet, but they're rising on up. Still unafraid to tackle these topics for the most part, as much as you can on YouTube. A lot of courage there with Peter and Jen. If you don't know their channel, Generational Change with a J, Jen Perlman, Peter Hager. And yeah, it's funny. We got he I guess I can say it because he hit me up and he talked about it on air. But he's not the only one. There's a bunch of leftists. If you don't know, I'm fully in the America First camp as led by young Nick Fuentes, and Peter Hager had a little bit of a lot of bit of America First Nick Fuentes energy. He played a Nick Fuentes clip. I went on Generational Change and they played a Nick Fuentes clip. I didn't want to wreck the flow, but I was like, let's go. That's crazy. We're all evolving and changing. Not that he agrees with everything with Nick, of course. I hate that we have to do these stupid disqualifiers. Nobody agrees with anybody on everything. But I was like, you could probably see my face there. I was like, let's go. Because it's one thing to privately DM somebody. It's another thing to have it on your stream. Like Nick's right here. Whatever you can F what you think, Nick's right here. And that was on the subject of Palantir, but which is a fully fully MAGA endorsed product now, believe it or not, which is crazy. So that's I mean that's a great example of how I fell out from MAGA. But be safe today. I did tell my wife before she left the house that just to stay away from the downtown areas. Who knows what's going to happen? But we are in prime false flag territory or true flag. We are in prime flag. Say that safely. Oh, you could say both. I didn't say fag, YouTube. I said flag, but it could be both. It is Pride Month. We are in prime time fag flag territory, which you could see a false fag or false flag, either one, or a true fag or a true flag. We're in that territory. So just for me, I'm not going to near any type of crowds or anything right now. It's not gonna be forever, but as you know, obviously it's popped off in the Middle East. How's your anti-war president going? How's that? How's the most anti-one? I'm as guilty as anybody on here on live saying Trump never started new wars. It's like nails on a chalkboard right now. How's that going? Let's check it out. How's it going in Russia? Oh, recently Ukraine. They can't do anything on their own, but Ukraine. Let's look at the comparisons. There were hidden drones that Ukraine got across the border in Russia that attacked the nuclear deterrent fleet. The fleet is there for deterrent of nuclear purposes. So Ukraine, in quotes, attacks Russia within their borders, hiding drones. And what happened in Iran? Look, wow, Israel hid drones in Iran. It is what it looked like. And they activated for years. How? Wow. And Israel hid 1998 Motorola pagers to go at Hezbollah in Lebanon. What a coincidence. That's very similar. The subversive tactics from the most subversive people on the planet just happened to pop up after Donald Trump's president. Well, some of it happened before, but some after Donald Trump's president, which he, in my opinion, had a role in the subversiveness in Iran and obviously Ukraine. Just a coincidence. It all is very similar, all Trojan horses. Wow. That's weird how that happens, huh? So you better check your if you're in America, if you're in any country, because these subversives don't care about anyone who's a non-subversive. So you could have the same type of problems. I've seen people laughing at Iran struck back at Israel. And I don't really, I mean, I have thoughts in my head. I'm just getting back in the game. So I just want to say hi. I only have an hour or whatever. So we're just gonna chat. We're just gonna talk. Cyan, what's up? Wait, why is it so small? So they have comments on oh, they try to be like the typical streaming with StreamYard. I put the comments on the screen. I can't even read them. So what's the point of that? But that's how Destiny and them do it. A lot of people owe Canada Prepper an apology. Yeah, because people come at, and I think I found out about Canada Prepper through you, Cyan. People, and I think Cyan, where Cyan's going is, there are a lot of people that look at Canadian Prepper and that genre, and they call them fear mongers. They say they have no facts to back up their fear, but it's a prepping channel. So the premise of the channel is to prep. The premise, I'm not going to speak to Canadian Prepper or Cyan, but when I watch Canadian Prepper, to me, it's more empowering. It's not all prepping, talking politics and stuff, but very similar to what I do, but from a standpoint of not being fearful, but being prepared. It's two different things. So absolutely, people. Oh, morning, Cyan. I didn't know you were even on the live. You've been referenced already. Great friend of the show, Cyan. But yeah, but nobody. It's funny. People don't have a lot of integrity. Like even if I don't like somebody necessarily, what does that even mean? I will agree when they agree. Tim Walls recently tweeted, or it was a video that he was speaking somewhere, and I'm obviously not a Tim Walls supporter, but he said something to the effect of China's. This is not a direct quote. It's something to the effect of China will be the one, if anyone, to negotiate peace in the Middle East because you have really it's the U.S. versus Iran, just like it wasn't U.S. versus Houthis, it was U.S. versus Iran, it's U.S. versus Russia. In the Middle East, you have Israel connected with the U.S. versus Iran and their connections to whoever else you want to connect them to, Russia, China. Even though Russia is friendly with Israel and China is friendly with Israel, it's really only the U.S. that's antagonistic to everyone. I mean, China, they play their games. Obviously, they have their self interest, but they're not antagonistic to everyone. They're like, we are China. We're better than you, sand people. We're better than you, blacks. You N with the ERs. But China's like, yeah, we're better than you, but we'll build roads for you. It's like we don't need to have war with you. I have no problem with that. China looks at Russia and they say you're likes to fight guy, you're a Neanderthal. We don't like you, but we can have a relationship. I mean, that's based actually. That's actually really based. It's race realism and it's non-violent. And that's where Tim Walls came in and said, well, if anybody's going to negotiate peace, it's going to be China. Who else would it be? It's the stuff that's popped off in the Middle East. The U.S. is involved in the negotiations. They're the ones escalating it. We're the ones escalating it. So how would we be the ones to negotiate peace? I mean, maybe it could happen, but when we talk about third party getting involved, it couldn't be Russia because we're involved. The U.S. is involved with a proxy war with Russia. Who else would it be? And these MAGA buffoons, these MAGA fools, basically say Tim Walsh is China bought out by China, whatever. That might be the case, but he could also be right. I mean, he's obviously is right. And I did apologize to. I don't think it got too personal. I don't get personal with people, but Caitlyn, I had a back and forth. Put videos out and on X with the great. I've never said that Caitlyn Johnstone was not great. So I never said that, but I did have a back and forth with Caitlyn Johnstone on Israel. I did a debate. Obviously, Craig Pasta is way smarter, way more informed. Never had beef with Craig Pasta. We never had any back. The Caitlyn Johnstone one was a little bit more, whatever, vitriolic. But I apologized to Caitlyn Johnstone and was like, "Hey, I reviewed it," and she never blocked me, and she does block people, and I really respected that because I told her I have no beef with you. I think highly of you, and the point where I'm bringing that up is it was over China, and she was absolutely right. I don't know if there's anything I said that was wrong, but it's the framing. China does do pot shot things against the U.S. like the fentanyl. That is China, but and promoting critical race theory, that is China. But at the end of the day, China is not violent. China builds their military the way that I would want US to build their military. They don't really put bases all over the effing world. They build a military where you can't mess with them. You can't cross their borders. They're very nationalistic. They deal with the Irans, and I purposely want to disrespect them. Irans, and they deal with the tiny hats. They deal with Russia, and they don't let these people in their country. Not freely abound. They don't let these people in their country fly in their other countries' flags. That don't happen. And they're peaceful with them and they do business with them. So they're the ones, they're the adults in the room. we are bastardized. We start these wars because, in part, we want to get money out of the US system because we just keep printing money and making up money. And so, part of the only way we can funnel this money out of the system is through the petrodollar and funding wars, which basically takes the money out of the American ecosystem to prevent inflation. That's part of it. Also, we're battling over, this is just my opinion. Our fearless leaders who would never fight in these wars don't say this, but it's for that reason. And then also these rare earth minerals, where the US, we have tons of rare earth minerals, but for some reason we're allergic to doing our own infrastructure. Because maybe it's because we're run by globalists. I don't know. But um that's where we're at. Cyan says she crashed out on lawyer. I said lawyer. She's a Jew, but it's not every Jew is a lawyer. I'm talking to myself right now. Just because she's Jewish doesn't mean she's a lawyer. I forgot what I was talking about with somebody. We were chatting. Oh, it was I forgot what it was. I think it was probably about the due process argument or whatever. And somebody was pro violence, and I'm obviously not. And they said, "Well, what would happen if somebody took your kid or something illegally or something like that? Would you crash out with violence?" And I said, "No, I'd hire a Jew. I'd find the nearest Jew lawyer to me and pay him a retainer fee, and who will fight it in the courts." Cyan said, "I crashed out on Laura Loomer." Let's talk about Laura Loomer after this. Cyan says, "I crashed out on Laura Loomer after she stated she doesn't care about the people in Gaza. Given her heritage, I wasn't surprised. Mike Adams of Health Ranger said at least she's honest about it." Here's my take on Laura Loomer, and a lot of people, not a lot of people, people have called me out on it because it is inconsistent. But I'm not joking about this. I am still a big Laura Loomer supporter. I understand she's a rabid, bloodthirsty Zionist Jew. I get it. I fully understand. There's no. I love when people ask me, "Do you know? Do you know that she's a rabid?" They don't say it like that, but do you know that she's a rabid Zionist Jew? And I'm like, yeah, she pretty much makes that clear. But she's not. She is subversive, but not about that. And I agree with that. I haven't heard what Adams of Health Ranger said, but I agree with Adam of the Health Ranger. At least she's honest. So how could I be a supporter of somebody like that? She is honest about it. She's not honest about everything. But we had a back and forth about, I think it was about Kilmar Garcia. And she replied to me, "Laura Loomer is a real person." Yeah, I've seen the stuff where people say she's a man and a transgender. What do you want me to do with that? I don't know. I see it, guys. I've looked at it. I've read the information. What do you want me to do? Check her package out personally? How am I supposed to verify that? Can somebody help me out with that? Yeah, Laura Loomer is really a man, allegedly, who's basically had some type of transgender form, surgery. That's out there. I don't know if it's true or not. You can literally take a picture of me and turn me into a woman in literally 2 seconds right now. What can I do? I don't know what to do. What do you want me to do with that? Do you want me to ask her to pose nude? How would I even verify that? If you want to discuss that, you go holler at her, you be subversive, and you put your hands down her pants and see what's there, and then report back. What do you want me to do with that? So right. I see the information, guys. I'm not hiding from it. I've talked about it. I've said I don't know. It's not even relevant, really. I don't mind people digging into that, figuratively speaking. If you want to, literally, then go do that. But I don't know what to do with that information. It's like Michelle Obama. What do you want me to do? If you want to make jokes about it, I'm fine. I'm not making jokes about Laura. I don't want those problems. Laura's if we need to go heads up, we will, but I am not trying to do that. Let's be clear. She is a queen of smack. And I said that about Dilly Meme Team. I said that about anybody. If we need to go heads up, Dilly Meme Team people have blocked me or whatever. I never had beef with Dilly Meme Team. I don't know why McGillifornia and all that kind of and Dilly himself blocked me. I don't know why. Probably because I'm on the America First Nick Fuentes camp, and I asked him, why do we have beef? We shouldn't be enemies, whatever. My point is, I'm not trying to have beef with Laura Loomer. She's a queen trash talker. If we need to, we must. Do not get me wrong, but that's not where I'm going with this. I like Laura Loomer. I'm a supporter. She is fearless. I understand that she's morally corrupt. Yeah, there's a lot of people who are morally corrupt. Find me somebody who isn't. I understand it's disgusting that she basically celebrates the death of women and children in Gaza because she's a Zionist pit bull, but she's honest, more honest than many others. And she's more honest. I hate to say this, she's more honest than Comic Dave Smith. I like Comic Dave Smith. I don't want to have beef with Comic Dave Smith, but Comic Dave Smith there's problems when we go down the JQ. Laura Loomer will have these conversations. She will go on with Craig Pasta. She will go on with people on the left. She will have people on the left on for a discussion. Not that Comic Dave Smith won't. That's a different topic. But to me, she is more honest with her stance than him. And then we can agree to disagree on where she is. And I understand that if somebody is a Zionist Jew, what that means is, or just forget about the Jew part of this. If they are a Zionist, that means they would support you not breathing anymore as long as it preserved anywhere. It's not just Israel. The fact is if they don't have Israel, they don't have a place. Is if they would support you not breathing as long as it meant Israel had or Jews had a place to call nationalist as their own. You could even put that as the definition of Zionism. Zionism is the belief that anyone who does not support a Jewish nationalist state should stop breathing, basically, if necessary. That's what Zionism is, and that's what Laura is. There's some people. Will Chamberlain, I'm completely out on. I used to like him, and I just didn't have enough respect in the bank for his Zionism, which he's as Zionist as Laura. But Laura is fearless. She will have a conversation with anybody in a way that's authentic enough to have a real conversation. If you are respectful to Laura Loomer, she will be respectful to you. Laura Loomer does not come out of pocket unless you come out of pocket against her. She will come back in kind. I respect that. She is a hell of a journalist. She is a hell of an investigator. She is a hell of a marketer. She's a hell of a streamer. I have the utmost respect for her. I have way more respect for Laura Loomer than Tim Pool. I'm sorry to say that. I still, I have nothing against Tim. Still have, some type of love for Tim. But just to compare the two, believe it or not, Tim is too mealy mouthed with his takes. To really gets on my nerves with his takes. Laura Loomer tells you where she stands, and you know where she stands. And you can either F off or not. And I don't know if that articulates it enough. Maybe I still support her. I think she's literally the only Zionist I support, to be honest with you. I'm trying to think if there's any other. I can't off the top of my head think of another Zionist I support. And Laura Loomer used to be cool with Nick Fuentes. I was following Nick when Laura Loomer and Nick were cool. You remember the story when Nick, the supported hater, after Laura Loomer had lost her election, I think that was 2022. I forget if it was 2022. I think it was 2022 when she ran for Congress in Florida, and the machine's against her. Even though she's a Zionist Jew, it's interesting. The machine is very much against her because she's an independent thinking Zionist MAGA Jew. And she had lost, and Nick had drove down just to show support, just to be like, we're friends. Sorry that you lost your election. It is a touching story, but I don't know where they're at now. I think they kind of fell out, and not Laura doesn't know me or anything like that, but it does look like we could fall out at some point because that's where it heads. But right now, I still support her. Cost of living up, projected immigration up. Let's talk about immigration. I'm in a different place with immigration now too. Yeah, I'm not I don't understand where we are with immigration, you guys. I was a supporter of mass deportation, of illegal people. If you came here legally, and we owe it, obviously. No, I don't think there's anybody that I really rocked with that wanted legal immigrants gone in a serious way. But my parents are legal immigrants from Jamaica. I was born here, but I was 100% for mass deportations. And you might wonder where I'm going with this because it's sounding like I'm no longer for it. I absolutely am no longer for illegal immigration. I'm no longer for mass deportation, at the very least, as a priority. If you are here illegally, you should be gone. But I am not for this mass deportation push for many reasons now. Number one, it's clear that it was a lie. So we have to start there. It's a damn lie. And there's many ways you can look at that. It is a fact. That is not an opinion. It is a fact that Donald Trump's push for mass deportation when he was running for president was a lie. He just came out. He's said so many things. He contradicted himself before he became president, much less the most recent one. He said, "Well, I'm going to do an executive order to protect agriculture." So what that means is you're not for mass deportations. Don't say that term. Don't use that term. Mass deportations is a term that says if you are here illegal, we're going to deport your ass. Period. Doesn't matter if you are a criminal or not. Obviously, criminals should be deported anyway. So what's the need for another term? So that's a fact. So then now the question is, why did you say you were for mass deportations? People will generalize and say it's because he was running for president and obviously Trump wants to be president. That's why he lied. Okay. So he did become president and we're still getting the lie. And we all know it's a lie. It's because they're using the thirst of mass deportation as a subversive Trojan horse, just like the 98 Motorola pagers, just like Ukraine and Russia with the drones in the truck that came out and then went at the nuclear deterrent. Meaning, if you go at somebody's nuclear deterrent, then that means they should use nuclear because now they don't have the nuclear deterrent. I mean, they do have some left, but that is very serious. And then Iran, they did subversive tactics within the country embedded for years. The same tactic with mass deportation brings us Palantir, Foundry, Clearview. It's everything. And now we have the surveillance state, which is the empowerment of the administrative state, the deep state, the deep state probably already were using these tools. We would never know. So it's really the administrative state, and then so overtly using a violation of the Fourth Amendment, a violation of many constitutional, I think multiple constitutional Bill of Rights, under the guise of mass deportations. Laura Loomer recently came out, met with JD Vance, supported Palantir. Came out and Laura Loomer, formerly of InfoWars, formerly supportedly, allegedly, purportedly America First, supporting Palantir. That's what the mass deportation push is, for your MAGA dumbass to cheer for mass deportations under the guise of Palantir. And that goes against Nick Fuentes as well. I'm not going to counter single Nick. Nick is a leader of the movement, but I do. I'm not going to say I disagree with Nick, but I would, because I don't think Nick would disagree with me. I super chatted Nick. I forget, it was a while back around Mother's Day, a little bit after. I think it was after Mother's Day. I forget, but um, I super chatted Nick about Kilmar Garcia, and I didn't frame it right. And Nick said, I still accidentally did it under middle MAGA, but Nick said, we're for, and I understand his take that, yeah, Killmonger is an illegal. I don't care about the due process. Get him out of here. But I didn't flesh it out completely. The problem with it, and I think Nick is very reasonable. I think he would understand my concern. I don't give a f about Kilmar Garcia. The problem is he was scooped up using this immigration OS software, which is through Palantir. It's either whatever software it is they're using through Palantir, and there's no due process. Meaning that doesn't mean due process doesn't mean necessarily a full court. It means that you get to prove whether you should be here or not. He should have been here. He was allowed to be here, but still swept to an El Salvadorian prison. So that's the perfect example. And all these maggots supporting it, what they're really supporting is Palantir scooping anybody up that they want without the president even knowing what's happening and deporting them and scooping up. It doesn't matter if they're a legal citizen or not, because he didn't get a chance to prove it. You're supporting Palantir having that problem. You see the Trojan horse. And then on top of it, I thought to myself, well, what is the purpose of the mass deportations? Somebody explain to me, what problem does that solve? Here on the channel Index Red, we've come to the conclusion that Zionist Jews, and then you can even extrapolate that to the Jewish question, their influence on American politics is the heart of all the problems that we have in this country. What do mass deportations do about that? What does mass deportations do about even your based Thomas Massey using the phrase Israel has a right to defend itself? That's the most base guy, and I agree. That's the most base guy we have in DC, who even says that phrase. What, the country has a right? Who the hell says that? We have never said that in the history of the world other than Israel. Every single person that represents you, from Byron Donalds to Lindsey the Gay Graham to Katie Britt to Lauren Boebert to Marjorie Taylor Greene to formerly Matt Gaetz to all of the ones that you think are the most based, they all say Israel has a right to defend itself. That's the problem. Some of them don't go kiss the wall, but 99% of them go kiss the wall. The dude, Scott, what's his name from the CNN guy that blew up? That he was literally French kissing the wall. Caitlyn Jenner kissing the wall. They all have to go to the wall. That's the problem. So you can deport every single black, brown, or otherwise. You could import every, and I do not agree with it. So there is another place where we disagree on importing these white South Africans. The hell do I need a white what the hell do I need a white South African in America who allowed their country to be overran by low IQ blacks here for? What the hell do I need that for? I'm out. I don't need a white South African who's not based, who doesn't care enough about their own damn country to fix it to come here. Sorry. I'd rather have Pablo here who's picking strawberries or radishes for $50 a day like a damn machine than a white South African who's not based here. Sorry, that doesn't help me. It's not a based position to say I want mass deportations, and we're still run by Palantir and the most Zionist, disgusting, tiny hat president. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Tiny hat, subversive, non-tariff performing on, bending over for the the interests of a foreign country, for non-anti-war, for escalating war all over the world. It turns out to working with former terrorists that are now Israel puppet presidents in Syria. For that non-informed deporting illegally should be impeached embarrassment of a president. Happy birthday, sir. permission to speak freely. No, I'm out on mass deportations. Not a base take. I understand we can't. I understand if you're a streamer and you just can't talk about. I only stream now, what, once every 2 months, so I can talk about Jews on the stream because I'm still fresh on the topic. But until we handle that, I'm not talking about mass deportations. I don't want to hear a damn thing about a mass deportation. Don't care. Doesn't solve any problem that I care about right now. Steve Johnson, what's good? My gosh, it's been a minute. How's the family, bro? Hope everything's good with you. Mike has bad knees. What's up? Mike has bad knees. Says every country has a right to defend itself. The key word is itself, meaning we shouldn't be involved. I don't believe that countries have rights. Because it could be semantics. But what's good? Mike has bad needs. If you want to say Israel has the power, see, it's not semantics. It's not semantics, and this is a good example of why. You say Israel has a right to defend itself. What else who gives Israel the right? Because I say people have God-given rights to do things. So Israelis have a right, God-given rights to fight for whatever they want to fight for. But a country, what does that mean? So does Iran have a right to defend itself? So under Mike has bad knees, he says they do. What does that mean? So countries have right. What are the God-given rights for countries? And I'm Christian, so that's where you kind of go to that. There's no biblical. I'm not aware of a biblical, and I can have to look it up, of a biblical passage that says countries have rights. What does that mean? So chopped. So Chaz chopped happened during the they didn't fully declare, and they should have declared themselves as a country, but say Chaz Chop popped up again and they declared themselves a country. They could say, we have a right to defend ourselves against MAGA, and they attack all MAGA that's around them. Is that how does that work? I don't understand how that works. When you talk about countries, they either have the political and literal power to defend themselves. That's the topic. And so you see how that reframes it, Mike, when we talk about Israel. Israel does not have the power to defend themselves. They absolutely do not. How much money in defense? We pay off not just Israel. I mean, you look at it from 1946 to 2023, directly to Israel, we've funded them with over $200 billion. They don't have the power to defend themselves. That's why we fund them and we funded more after, for sure. Over $200 billion. That would be like saying you raised a child who can live on their own, but they're living in a New York apartment condo, and you're giving them $1 million a year, and they don't have a job. And the child says, I have a right to live on my own. Bitch, then live on your own then. Why your daddy's giving you $1 million a year? Don't tell me about what right you have to live on your own. And then not only that, it's anti-Semitic to not give you the $1 billion a year or $1 million a year. Yeah, I can live on my own if my parents give me $1 million a year, if I have a trust fund. It's insane. Then not only that, you live in a condo, your neighbors don't like you, none of them. Your neighbors don't like each other. But the one thing that brings them together is the hatred of you and your condo. They would boot you out of your condo, but they can't because I'm giving you weapons separate from the millions, separate from the money. We're giving you money to fund the dome to protect your condo. We're giving you the money when you run out of ammunition. We're giving you weapons from our like our surplus stockpile that you don't pay for, separate from the 3.8 billion. We have your back. Separate from the 3.8 billion, you cause problems in your condo. You don't have to work it out for your neighbors who they all just happen to be anti-Semitic. It's never you. It's never you and your damn nose. It's never you and your damn smug attitude. It's never you and your damn amoral religion, whatever that looks like. You can't even define. It's not you. It's never you. It's always them. And then it would be more of them if we didn't pay them off, Egypt, Jordan, etc. If we didn't overthrow them for you, Syria. They would all be against you and you wouldn't even exist. And for me to say that is anti-Semitic. Don't tell me about what right you have. First of all, cut all that off, do it on your own. I'd be like, damn, you're a hell of a small country to be able to be an asshat to all your neighbors, for them to be angry at you because daddy implanted you there in the first place. And then for you to say you have a right to defend yourself is an insult to my intelligence. It's problematic for many reasons. And this is the problem I have with Comic Dave Smith, is he doesn't go down that path. He stays on the surface level. I like what he does and a lot of what he does, but he does not get to that level underneath where we talk about what's happening here. So no, I don't. For Thomas Massie to say Israel has a right to defend itself means he is not based. If you want to say he's the best of the trash that we have, great. What does that mean? I'm not eating feces. So if you tell me this is the best feces that you have, I'm going to say no, thank you. I am not a Thomas Massie person. Doesn't mean I won't say where I agree, but I am not, and that's the heart of the problem there. What does Comic Dave Smith say to that? I don't think he agrees to that phrase, but that's the phrase I have a big problem with. They have a right to defend themselves. I'm living and daddy's paying all my bills. I don't have to work. They have free health care. I'm not bitter at all. I'm not bitter at all. After all this, the parents who are paying for the child, they're paying for the child basically indirectly to subsidize the child's health care. The mother and father don't have health care. How does that work? And then they're the ones that say they have a right to defend themselves. How does this work? Explain to me. Where am I wrong? Explain to me. I still haven't heard anybody explain. People will call me whatever, anti-Semitic. Great. That means you're based nowadays to me. I'm playing Ye's Hail Hitler. I can't hear you. I'm what? What am I? No. That's when you call me anti-Semitic. Just so you know, in my head it's do. I'm waiting for the beat to drop. That's whenever you call me anti-Semitic or whatever the case is, I'm like, okay, yeah, of course. No. Let's continue on. Christian, what's up? Morning, happy to catch you live. Yeah, I'll go for, I don't know. We'll see. What I got to do today? I got to fix the sprinkler. I don't know how my sprinkler outside the pressure pipe. We had it water. We had it. We did the winterizing, and the pipe still. I don't know. So I got to cut the middle of the pipe. I have no sprinkles. So my lawn looks like shit. So that's not good. I'll be honest with you. If you're like literally one of the only blacks, there's a ex-Denver player black that actually lives in my neighborhood. We're like the only two blacks. So whenever there's a lot of Mexicans, there's whites and Mexicans, but we're like literally there's like three blacks. Which is the goal, by the way. But so whenever there's like a neighborhood thing, I always dap him up. He actually went to Michigan too. We both went to University of Michigan, but I'm an old head. He's a younger head. But we always dap up when we go to like a neighborhood events. We're like the only black. It's like it's an unspoken thing. But it's not good to be a black with the lawn is not. I want the lawn to be so green that your eyes hurt. The lawn needs to be so green that when the sun's shining and it's just been sprinkled, the reflection makes you put on sunglasses. And right now, the lawn is so barren, it looks like, oh, that's where the black lives. That's not good. So that's priority number one. Get the sprinkler fixed. Luckily, we had rain here, so it's not that bad, but that's on my mind. And then gotta fix a screen door. So just got the routine to-do list today, but I'll get started on that after letting out the crashing out on the Jays. I could start a flag football team. Is that from the false flag reference? Krista said loves the lawn aspiration. I've never quite gotten there. I've gotten close to the point where people are like, "Bruh, you're good," but it's hard to get to that last level. And those who are on the block that have it, I'll literally go out when they're outside and say, "Hey, how'd you do that?" They aerate properly. I'll be honest, you gotta aerate because it's so dry out here. But I same here. That's exactly the problem. I don't know what happened. The balcony screen looks like a hurricane hit it. It looks horrific. It looks like straight out the hood. Like it's not easy to see from the street or anything, but it's still too hood-like. If have company over, it's embarrassing. He said, "Yeah." The other blacks, their lawn's good. So I'm really in a bad spot. Yo, I'm in a really, really bad spot. Then the fence, my door to the fence of the backyard's messed up. A panel came off. So I'm a mess right now. So I gotta fix that. The weekend's the only time I have. But yeah, that's where I stand. Um, oh, the studio space. Yeah. So yeah, but I mean, I'm still working on it. I want to revamp the studio play. I just haven't. I actually took it down. I was gonna try to revamp it to make it look better. And I don't know. I'm not good with that kind of stuff. So I did get a tripod, which really helps. Before I had a camera on a stack of boxes, but now I got a tripod so I can get the camera right a little bit more. But the background before was actually better. But I was trying to make it better, but without having to use a green screen. But it's a work in progress. Whatever. I don't know. I know, I hate it too, and I tried to do stuff with the fam, and my wife's like, "Hey, what are we gonna do this weekend?" I'm like, "I don't know. I gotta get the kids' haircut. I gotta go get the screen, fix that. I gotta do the pipe." I'm not good with handyman stuff. I never, my dad always would be like, "Hey, watch me do this," and I would kind of watch, but it would never be like, "Okay." Never good. And my mom would be like, "Hey, watch me cook." And I really didn't pay attention there, so I can't cook. So I know some basics with handy stuff, but the thing is with ChatGPT, I know if you have ChatGPT, it's insane. I was doing plumbing the other weekend. I didn't know how to fix just simple the drain, I forgot what they call it. The thing in the drain got all messed up because I was using hard cleaner on it and it's cheap and it made it look all rusty. So it's not as easy to change as I thought. I had to take the whole thing out the bottom, and I have ChatGPT put the phone up to it, and it literally in real time. I think Google has this too, but I only use ChatGPT. It tells you what to do. It takes a long time, but it literally, you show it a video. It literally, you put headphones in it, or you don't need that, but put headphones in. You can talk to it and say, "I don't know what that is. When do I take that out?" It literally tells you what to do. So it literally told me what I needed to do to so I didn't have to call somebody, how to cut the middle of the pipe out, put in I don't even remember the terms for them. And when you go to Home Depot, it's so annoying. Like what aisle do I go in? Where are these things? ChatGPT, boom, boom, boom. And then I'll take the picture of it. And I'm like, ChatGPT, is this the right one? They'd be like, no, 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 no. You don't use that one. You need the one that has the extender. It's so good. So good. 'Cause there's times I went to Home Depot and then had to come back because I got the wrong one, and even with Google, ChatGPT is so good. Yeah, I love those days with no duty. It's always something though. I mean, I agree, but I don't really have many of those days anymore. That's why I used to stream at night. And then I was working out at night a little bit, and then I just got too tired. I was doing it for a good like, working out at 10 to even midnight, believe it or not, on work nights. But then I got too tired, the coffee wasn't working anymore. I would drink coffee and then fall right asleep. So I'm not doing that anymore, so I just gotta figure it out. Yeah, Home Depot and Lowe's too, I mean, they all are very similar. I feel like they do the best they can, it's just a warehouse. So Roger said Home Depot has the worst product organization. I just feel like if I was at the store, I would use AI. If I owned the store, I would use AI for people to just type in what they want and where to find it, but it's all on people's phones, so you could just do it through the app or something. Oh, yeah, when ChatGPT is down, I am furious. It doesn't happen very often anymore. I know it was down recently, but it was only for a little bit from what I saw. Yeah, working out late. I actually was doing well because I had coffee and it was actually working. I would do, believe it or not, one of those little cheap pots of coffee, like, is it 5 cups, up to the 5 level? It's a lot of coffee at night, but it would work, but then it just stopped working. Just a drug. And then when I stopped it, I had a headache at night, and when I woke up, I was like, "Nah, I'm literally a druggie. Nah, I'm not gonna be out here doing the fentanyl walk over coffee." I know that's typically not what happens, but that's the same. It's not much different to me. Fentanyl zombie. I still have coffee, obviously. I still got my coffee. I even stepped it up. I got a coffee warmer, one of these. I don't know if you've seen this. My wife got it for me for anniversary. It's really good. It keeps the coffee warm, but I just do it in the morning now. I don't do it at night anymore. Definitely a rando stream. It's the first stream in a while, random stream, and here we are off the rails. We are off the rails. But yeah, that's the plan for the day. I love talking about Ye. Ye rolled up at the Diddy trial, and I didn't look into it. I don't know why. He rolled up in the all white, which was interesting because Ye for a long time has been wearing the all black, the artist formerly known as Kanye West. And why does this matter? Because Ye's one of the most influential guys in the world. I mean, he's one of the greatest. He's the Michael Jackson of our era, the closest thing to it, at least. And he's banned, ostracized. But I saw Sneeko react to it. Ye rolled up, and Sneeko was like aura. And I don't know what the motivation is behind the Diddy stuff. Maybe it is just to trend. I don't know. Ye's a hard one to put a pulse on. He comes out with Hail Hitler, then he recants. Then he recants and kind of recants and says, I'm not in that mood anymore, which I can see him because he's living it. He comes, to do a song like that. How many times does he kind of go through it? And he's probably just tired of it. And he moved on. But now he wore the white to Diddy, which seems like a sign of support, which could mean support in I'm praying for you, bruh, or support in you did nothing wrong. I don't know what that is. But I was thinking about it because somebody did a meme, and it's a funny meme because I was talking about, oh yeah, I'm not anti-Jew or whatever, but I have Jew friends, the standard, and I don't like to do that because it sounds stupid as hell. Like, oh, I'm not racist, but I have a black friend. But I like the meme where they're like, I'm not racist. I have a black friend. It's Ye. He's the guy. He's the guy who wears the KKK black hood. That's the backer. I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm not racist. I like the blacks. My black friend is Ye. But I don't know what's going on with Ye and the and his white outfit there. That was an interesting choice. And who knows what's going on with Ye? The whole thing about Ye is he turns everything into art form. So Ye is like the art form of taking advantage of this media moment. You know, remember, he doesn't get any traditional media moments or press or anything like that. So he's taking advantage of the media moment. Mike Has Bad Knees says, I really liked when Kanye was going the Christian route. Gosh, I missed that so much. It was so good. And I was hoping we would get more albums like that. Yep. He's just not in that place anymore. Man, that was so good. It was just a magical moment. And we'll never lose it. And I said, you know, I'm being selfish there because Ye's got to be in the place where Ye is. I can't, you know what I mean? I can't tell Ye what place to be in. But when he was in that place with Christ as King, mm, that was so special. So special. Jesus Walk era, that was so special. But I think he's bringing what the moment needs. Jesus Walk at that moment, at that time, was what the moment needed, and I think Hail Hitler is what the moment needs now. I never really gave my take on Hail Hitler. Hail Hitler was a banger. Completely support the song Hail Hitler. Um, yeah, I mean that came out. I haven't really talked about it. Ye's brilliant, and it's not even about. I think we always bubble down to, do I agree with a song or not? And I think that kind of takes us away from the conversation that we really should be having about it, or we really could be having about it. Shane Cashman was great on that song in explaining like what it was about and his kind of his overall take on the song. HH. So, you know, that's the song I was joking about. If you don't, I mean, everybody should know, I would hope. But the song I was joking about before, like if somebody calls me anti-Semitic or leans down that path, I got the beat in my head. Mm, mm, mm. So the song is really to me about Ye's way of pushing back to what's happened to him and being a part of the larger conversation. Man, these people took my kids from me. And it you can take what you want from that, but the infamous moment in the Tim Pool interview where Tim Pool says they've done things to you, they've done this to you. Who is they though? So that's what this is about. And Ye, without directly mentioning it, say they took my they took my kids from me. I got so much anger in me, got no way to take it out. Think I'm stuck in the matrix. So you don't have to, it doesn't matter like what are the details of really what happened with his kids. How is Ye portrayed in the media? He's portrayed as someone who's not mentally healthy enough to be around his kids. And that's going to build up anger in someone. He has a right to be angry. And he says, literally, I've got no way to take it out. And he wants to be peaceful. He's a peaceful guy. The dude has never has he broken the law? I'm not aware of him being arrested. I'm not aware of the bra breaking the law. So how is he viewed like this as a guy who's never broken a law, whether it's right or wrong, had his kids taken from him, literally, that happens to a lot of people with divorce or what, separation, but he had his kids taken from him. We feel like we're stuck in the matrix. He's speaking for me in a way. Yeah, we're literally stuck in the matrix. I just did the video about, big tech literally sucking out the power. That's what the matrix is. They control big tech. They control the digital media space, the space that I'm talking to you now on. They control it. They get friendly with other parts of dick tech. That's a good one. Big tech. They search our tools. They search on us with search tools. We can't see what they're searching. They suck the power out of the grid. Then they censor us. We're literally in the matrix. So then he throws in a lot. He always throws in something like then he throws in, "Where's my nitrous?" And I'm like, okay. Ye always throws in something when you're like, okay, Ye, I'm rocking with you. I'm rocking with you. Then he's like, where the fuck's my nitrous? And I'm like, oh, where? I don't know. You go find that. I'm over here. I don't even know what that is, bro. It's not for me. But that's kind of the point of the song. That's kind of what makes it dope. Where you're kind of like, it's almost they did that all the Biggie did that. Broken Traditions and I talked about that with Biggie. We're rocking to the Biggie song, and and we're like, did we listen to Biggie? Did you hear what Biggie said? Biggie literally said, what was the famous line? You look so good. I'm not even gonna say it because I'm not gonna get clipped on it. But Biggie said, "You look so good that I do what?" And we like, what? Did we not stop at that moment and wonder? We're like, wait a second. No, that's not what we're doing. And that's where Ye's at. Ye does that so well, which he's like, and then he's like, where the fuck's my nitrous? No, I'm not. I don't know. Are you okay, Ye? I'm rocking with you. But then he comes back in, and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna overlook that one. Are we just gonna overlook that? Which night? I don't know. Somebody tell me what the nitrous is. I mean, some drug or whatever. That doesn't help, Ye. Yay. I'm trying to rock with you. I'm trying to tell other people, kind of like, Ye's not as bad as you might think. And then he says, where the fuck's my nitrous? I'm like, Ye. Oh, no, that's not bass. That's not bass, Ye. Actually, that's not bass. Get some help. But we're all flawed. So it's almost like a test where we're like, it's almost like a test where you like, do you acknowledge that we're all flawed human beings?
He said some real
I don't even know if I have this set up properly. Wow. I don't even know if I have this set up properly to even do it anymore. It's crazy to like stream and play this stuff. These clips. But so Ye goes with that, and then after that he says, yes, I'm a cuck when people fuck on my bitch. Does anybody know what that line was about? Was that another moment where we're like, Ye, easy, bruh? I guess, I mean, everyone is at some point, my wife will say something and be like, okay, I'm not looking to fight. So I guess, am I a cuck in that moment? I don't know. But then it comes back and he's like, the shit I'm posting on Twitter, they telling me, Ye, don't say that. And that's where I'm at, obviously. The stuff we say on Twitter, they say, don't say that. Not everybody, but enough people say, don't say that. So that he says those couple lies and he comes back with something you can rock with. And then he says, how niggas can't see me in public. I'm driving an all chrome Maybach. That's just some to my point, that's just some cliche hip hop shit. Just like that's like old school hip hop shit. Just to be like, it's so cliche hip hop to bring in a car or something like that. Just a cat. And I think it's done on purpose to be catchy. Because the whole point of the song is, and friend of the show, Foundering, said that he's using the same cliche chords that every pop song uses. And I replied to him, yeah, that's the point. It's literally the point to mainstream, even as I'm banned, I'm mainstreaming the discussion. So that was literally the point, Foundering. But this is the Biggie line.
Biggie, he said some real wild, flagrant stuff on lyrics that nobody really questioned until like later on in life. I always go back to this one line. When I first met you, I thought it was a trip. You look so good, I was sucking your daddy's dick.
When I met you, I admit my first thoughts was a trick. You look so good, I suck on your daddy's dick.
Pause.
I suck on your daddy's dick.
I
Yeah,
never
man.
heard nobody say nothing like that. And nobody was in the studio to say, what? You want to suck somebody's daddy's dick? Like,
That's one of his most famous lines too.
what another line he said? My
That was
nigga
wild.
Gutter will fuck you in the ass and throw you over the bridge. Like, what? And I bet the dude Gutter. You know what I'm saying? But
I hope they know my nigga gotta fucking kidnap kids. Fuck them in they ass, throw them over the bridge.
why are you saying these things and nobody is saying like, yo, man, chill, come on, man. Biggie. And he's, sorry, you know 90s hip hop. You say things back then that was flagrant, that's now flagrant. Like, say, for example, when Big Pun was like, don't be mistaken, you wake up, your manhood is taken. It was flagrant back then, but it's flagrant now, but back then, you let it slide. You know, like Cannabis said, like, I bet you nobody can eat a nigga ass like me. We know what you meant, but we know now it's flagrant.
You might got more cash than me, but you ain't got the skills to eat a nigga's ass like me.
But Biggie was on another level. I think he was letting people know, like, yo, we different over here on Bad Boy.
Middle mag.
I think that was that's kind of the tactics that Ye was going with here. Saying some wild stuff. So he mentioned his children multiple times in that song. That, seems to be the kind of the fundamental thing to kind of break somebody there, a father. And he says, niggas see my Twitter, but they don't see how I be feeling. It's a good point. Nobody acknowledges his feelings. They don't even acknowledge if they're just or not, or they just want to call him names. And I love this energy because we talked about Mark Robinson, and I wish he was just honest. Mark Robinson, he ran for governor in North Carolina, came out that he was this mini soldier personality online when he was a little bit younger, not that young, still 30s, 40s, I think. And he seemed to be a black Nazi. He said, basically, these blacks need to be enslaved. And, he was saying stuff that's kind of based, maybe probably more where I'm at. So then how do you not feel Ye when Ye says, they don't see how I feel. They took my kids from me. I got this anger in me. No way to let it out. So I became a Nazi. Yeah, bitch, I'm the villain. Isn't that the take? It's the Steve Bannon take. Steve Bannon said, you call me racist? Yeah, bitch, I'm racist then. You call me anti-Semitic? Yeah, bitch, I'm anti-Semitic. It's not literally endorsing Hitler. Maybe it's some parts of Hitler, which is perfectly fine. You can endorse parts of somebody and not parts of other people. Says, yeah, I'm a bitch. This is what I said Mark Robinson should have said. Literally, when the Mark Robinson thing came up, I said he should have been like, bitch, literally, bitch, I'm a Nazi. I didn't say Hail Hitler, but you're a Nazi. Say it. That would have been more based. Don't hide who you are. And then he drops the nigga in there to kind of counter the Hail Hitler. Because obviously, I'm not a Hitler expert. Some people tell me different things about this. I do not purport myself to be some expert on Hitler. But the idea is to say, well, Hitler wouldn't be for niggas. So now you're saying nigga Hail Hitler to create a contradiction. This is art here. That's why when I say the song is dope, it's a pop song that was designed to get banned at all the major platforms, run by Jews, to show you the song is based, it's right. I'm literally being proven in real time, and you still don't feel where I'm coming from. You still don't address the lyrics of the song. Who actually addressed the lyrics of the song? The best bar on it, which just is like a hip hop braggadocious, where he said, he was like, she got to be, she want to fuck in Japan, put the chrome on the Benz. She's reaching down my pants. She got the world in her hands. I thought that line was dope. Just as like a hip hop braggadocious. So you see how he brought like classic hip hop braggadocious, the Maybach, then the world in my. That's just straight up hip hop braggadocious. There's no other reason for it. For him to say, even though I'm not a victim, I'm a boss still, is why he put that. If you don't know why he put that line in there. And that's basically the whole song. And the rest of it's just that beat. Dum, dum, dum. Man, Mark was a freak. He doesn't need to talk. Nobody. You don't need to talk about the freak stuff that he was into, like the Transformer prawn and all that. He could say, "Hey, I'm a sinner. I fully admit that. I'm not gonna get in. Who needs to? I don't need to get into the details of like what type of the details of the sin. There's no need for that. But let's talk about the political parts of where I was at. How about that? You don't want to talk about that? Why don't you want to talk about that? Mark Robinson would be so base. He has a great presence and voice. Yeah, he wouldn't have won, but I guarantee you he's a Nick Fuentes fan. He would have won. He would not have won, but he would have created momentum for something. Yay, at least has momentum for something. And we're short. We're here on this earth for a short period of time. Why lie? Tell you where I am politically. I'm not. Why do I need to tell you what I'm searching on Pornhub? It's not even necessary. I'm flawed. I'm a sinner. Why do you need to know that? That came out. He didn't tell anybody that. It just came out. So I would have had no problem if he would have been like, I'm not going into all that. F you. But let's talk about the politic part about it. Obviously, Trump's flawed. We're all flawed. But I'm gonna go get the chores started. Yeah, if I have time, I'll still kind of shake off the rust and just do off the cuff lives. And you guys can gauge take the conversation wherever you want. I can talk about anything, anytime. I'm not knowledgeable on everything, but I have no problem talking about it. Minnesota on lockdown? What's going on? Is this Kings bullshit? What the fuck? State senator shot and killed. Oh, what is going on? Let me take a look. I do have to go, but thank you for the update there. What is going on? And go to the newspaper of the world and figure it out. Looks like the homie friend of the show, Iggy Ignoramus, is going to cover the No Kings protest in Nashville. Laura going after I like Michael Redd, even though I criticized him as a presence when he ran for president. I've kind of seen him and interacted very, very, very little with him online. I kind of like him a lot, not for a presidential candidate, but what's going on here? Twitter used to have the news over in the right, and they don't do that anymore. Right? Why? That was so good when they were doing that. I don't understand that. So now you have to go to the trending to get the news. Minnesota, Melissa Hortman. What the hell is going on? Breaking. It's been revealed that the Minnesota Democratic lawmakers shot it was last night. State Rep Melissa Hortman and John Hoffman both recently voted against their party, with Hortman supported repeal of free health care for illegals, and Hoffman joining Republicans in the Senate to pass it. Hours before the Marxists kick off their No Kings riots, 2 Democrats in Minnesota were shot. What the fuck? This is crazy.
John Hoffman.
I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's coming out of the wrong speakers. Hold on. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can fix that. Let me know if there's feedback or something.
John Hoffman and Representative Melissa Hortman. We do not know their condition at this point. We know that these are involved in the 2 situations that we've been following in Champlin and Brooklyn Park, where each of them live. We are working to get more information on all of this just as soon as we can. But again, 2 Minnesota lawmakers shot this morning, confirmed by our sources, Senator John Hoffman of Champlin and Representative Melissa Hortman of Brooklyn Park. John Hoffman and Representative Melissa Hortman. We do not know their condition at this point. We know that these are...
This is crazy. Yeah, it looks like something popped off there. I'm going to do a quick deep research on this. Tell me about the Minnesota state senators or whoever they were who were shot. Full context. I am on a live something, everything someone would want to know. The deep research from ChatGPT is just impeccable. It's unmatched from AI. Just completely unmatched. There's no AI that's better that I've seen. No, it happened on Friday the 13th too. I'm not superstitious or anything. It's just kind of odd. So I'll come back to that with more details in a heartbeat. Thank you for sharing that. On Fox News, 2 were shot. Wow. See you, Cyan. Oh, well, you thought I was going to go off. I always say I'm going to go off, and then somebody brought up some news. I'm just curious as to what's going on. So I might just give the update on that and then go out. While we're doing that, I'll just go check out my Twitter feed live and see what's going on. I almost need an audio tweet because I'm going to be doing chores and stuff. I almost want an audio Twitter feed. So it just reads it. I guess you could try to set that up. Let's see what's going on. This is just a random Twitter account. Iranian security forces claim they've discovered an abandoned truck allegedly used by Mossad agents and allegedly DDF operatives to launch drones during the recent strikes inside Iranian territory. The vehicle appears to have served as a mobile UAV launch platform, cleverly disguised and deployed deep within Iran. In war, deception is art and brilliance wins battles. That looks like a AI generated script there, but doesn't matter. Obviously, I do the same. But I don't know what's true or not, but this goes towards what I've been saying is that it's a heck of a coincidence, right? I mean, are we going to acknowledge the elephant in the room? The Trojan horse with the pagers, the Trojan horse with the Ukrainian drones inside of Russia. And Russia has a relationship with Israel, so Israel doesn't want to definitely not now, with Russia getting a lot of drones from Iran. Russia has motivation to back Iran over Israel here. But, Jews have, in a way, infiltrated Russia a little bit too. I haven't talked about that often, but they have. So that's a risk for Israel. I don't know if Israel had anything to do or Mossad had anything to do with the Ukrainian attack on Russia, but it's the exact same thing that we're seeing here. It's literally the exact same type of attack. Hidden drones in a truck that just activated when they wanted them to. What do you think Israel has hidden in the US to activate when they want to activate against who they want to? They have the search platform now. You guys, if you don't know what Palantir is, and people keep talking about it, it's very common now. People are talking about it. It's more. On the Peter and Jen podcast, I said it's like Google search. It's not really even like Google search. It's more like, imagine Facebook, because maybe you have the whole world on Facebook, just hypothetically. You have the whole US on Facebook. It's like the back end of Facebook. It's like everything that Facebook has on you that you don't know that Facebook has on you. The semantics that the Palantir supporters, even Jeremy Kauffman and some libertarians, just a horrific position, supporting Peter Thiel and Palantir. They say that Palantir doesn't own your data, which is true. It is one of the dumbest retorts, because that's even worse. Because why would they need to house the data if they have access to the data? If you give me all data on all American citizens, what does it matter if I have the data on my hard drive or I just can search through the data? What is the distinction that you're trying to make here? All it does is give me plausible way to deny that I'm not housing the data. Who cares? if I'm housing the data or not. I have access to all the data. It's housed by the government, and Trump says, hey, you can look through everybody's files. Does that make you feel better? That maybe you're on the live stream and Trump says, you can look through all the information from this dude's history. And the dude doesn't know what data I have. So then the dude asked me, why do you have my data? Which is technically incorrect. And then I say, you goofy fool, I don't have your data. I just have access to your data. Now I wonder, what kind of idiot do you think I am? What point are you trying to make? I'm really upset with the libertarians that saying this. Really bad stuff. This is libertarian New Hampshire type people saying, oh, we support Palantir. What's wrong with Palantir? And even maggots saying, well, they already have our data. What's wrong with Palantir? The government already has our data. So what's wrong with Donald Trump saying somebody said something bad about you on a live stream, you can search through their history. And then somebody says, you shared your screen. Are you searching through my history through a database? And I say, don't worry about it. I don't house the data. What kind of effing fool do you think I am? What kind of idiot do you think I am? They don't have the data. What does that mean? They don't have the data. They have access to the data. Are you playing semantic games with me right now? It would actually be better if they had the data because they would be more legally bound to how they use the data. They are a private company that is still being deemed as private, that has access to the government data, and we don't know what other data they have access to. Meaning, do they have access to your browsing history? Do they have access to your history of when you look at a video on Instagram whether your eyes get bigger, that you like big-chested women? They could have that data and match it with whatever else to search through that data. If they're a private company, you need a warrant to search through. No, they don't. They can set up filters. Black dude said something bad about Jews. It's literally a filter they could set up and we would never know. How would we know? They're a private company. You can't support that and be based, in my view. I don't even know how I got on that tangent. It's just something I had to get off my chest. That's horrible what happened in Minnesota. I'm just looking through my feed. They're doing this thing with Jewish niggas. There's this whole thing about, I'm not going to get into it. The J proof and I'm not going to get into it right now. Movies look like they're making a comeback. I saw Lilo and Stitch with the family. They're talking about How to Train Your Dragon. Lilo and Stitch I just like the animation better. I wasn't really a huge fan of it, to be honest. It wasn't bad, but I just wasn't a huge fan of it. I love the Super Mario Brothers. I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If it's an animation, just keep it animated. The special effects are dope. I mean, the CGI makes it look kind of real. I mean, even though obviously it's a goofy alien creature and stuff, but I mean, it's kind of like, it's very much like the AI videos I do. There's no soul to them. So the movie did not have soul. Movies in the 90s had soul. And the reason why I do the AI slop is I'm not doing any other video. So it'd be literally, if I wasn't uploading AI slop, the channel would just literally be dying, which it was anyway, even with the AI slop. But I'd rather do the AI slop than just die. Everybody's talking about the Minnesota. So did we just find out? So it happened last night, and it looks like it's just now being discussed. Because I was on Twitter earlier, I didn't hear about it. Happy birthday! I already said happy birthday to Trump and his failed legacy. I'm just going through Twitter. History will judge who truly belongs to this land. I agree. They're still talking about USAID. They just rolled, guys. This whole Grok stuff Grok didn't do anything. When you look at the cost and the savings, it's not even determined that Grok provided a net savings to anything. Let's assume they even did do a net savings. The highest number that I've seen is like 9 billion at the highest. That's the most generous. The budget for the Defense Department alone is 1 trillion. What are we talking about here? It's not even a drop in the ocean. And then USAID just got rolled into the State Department. It didn't get abolished, or destroyed. Grok accomplished absolutely nothing other than Trump, the executive order. This is how Palantir got the power. Trump did the executive order to give Elon Musk, this is perfectly legal, and I said it's legal. Trump gave Elon Musk and Doge the power to go through the databases of the IRS, Social Security, everything, immigration, DHS, all that. And they're allegedly going through it for savings. Obviously, that was a lie. Then Doge gave that power. Then they handed over the ability to search through all of them to, I believe it was Foundry, which is a Palantir search type database searching AI thing. It was through Doge. So, and your base Thomas Massey is saying, what about the Doge cuts? What the hell are you talking about? What Doge cuts? Doge accomplished nothing. I've asked all these people, tell me what they've accomplished. Here's what I see. No one has countered me. You're just eating MAGA slop. It really angers me to see them feeding this to us like I'm some damn pig on an animal farm. It's not based. They accomplished nothing. They're showing video of Antifa. Law enforcement on Hortman shooting that I guess we're just finding out about. So it's low. It's saying that somebody might have impersonated an officer who shot the state senator.
Yeah, it was knocking on the door and asking the person to come out, absolutely impersonating a police officer.
And this is crazy, man. Because this is crazy. So it looks like this is what he just said, that someone knocked on their door impersonating a police officer. So if a police officer knocks on my door, I'm thinking about opening it. I've got to look at the laws on whether I can or not. Because what are you going to do? Yell at them through the door? That's not very safe. We've seen them bust through doors, shoot, that's what happened with Breonna Taylor. If I remember correctly, the police knocked on the door. They said they knocked on the door. Breonna Taylor said that they didn't. Who knows? Then they knocked the door down. And I don't know if Breonna Taylor, I don't think they said, and who are you or anything like that. I'm not sure. They knocked the door down. The boyfriend was in the back. He was doing dirt, and he thought potentially that he didn't know it was the police, and he popped first. I'm not doing any of that. But you see where this gets crazy.
We do have the suspect's car. Suspect is on foot. That is what the large-scale search is currently going on. I just remind residents of Brooklyn Park, I know it's been a long time, but those that are in the grid that we gave the alert out to continue to shelter in place. We're also reminding them that if somebody comes to the door and they knock on the door and claiming to be a police officer, please do a couple of things. One, call 911 and confirm that the officer belongs there. If they are a police officer, dispatch will be able to confirm.
I mean, who knows if they knock the door down or what? But yeah, that makes sense.
That person's a police officer. Also,
even when people come and solicit, and I got to get a no solicitor sign, I'm not feeling that. And I tell them, because I those are hard jobs, and this actually makes them go away quick too. But they, solicitors come selling solar or whatever the case is. I let them know, man. You come knock on the door, we're vulnerable when we open the door, man. I'm not in the mood for it. I mean, I tell them, hey, no beef with you. It's a hard job, but I'm just not in the mood, man. I got a wife and kids. I can't be opening the door for random Negroes. I just can't be doing that. So what I'll do is I'll open the door and close it right behind me. So if they get me, they get me. But I am very unhappy with solicitors. And sometimes the garage door is open anyway. So it's kind of like, what am I really doing? And I told my 2 kids, like, if I'm not here, don't open the door for no random Negro. I don't care who they are.
Informed all our officers in Brooklyn Park that
And
they
it's
are
not just
to
whoever the solicitor is.
approach anybody by themselves. They're to approach in pairs, meaning 2 officers. So if there's only 1 officer outside the door, do not answer the door.
That's a good pro tip. I didn't know that. He said if there's only 2, this is in Minneapolis at least. If there's only 1, then it's definitely not real, I guess is what he's saying.
And call 911. If there's
That's crazy. But yeah, I appreciate Jeff O'Donnell says never answer the door at night. Yeah, at night for sure. We get doorbells rent for Amazon packages and stuff, but even then I'm like, I hate opening the door to get the Amazon package. Christian says, but that's why you gotta live hopefully in a safe neighborhood. No neighborhoods are obviously 100% safe, but that's why I have no problem being honest. I don't like when people aren't honest because I know I've talked to black people. Black people don't want to live around black people. And it's not saying obviously all blacks, but I don't aspire to live in an all black neighborhood. Who does? Christian says these shootings seem to show how deranged the left is, truly eating their own here. I don't even know. That's what it looks like. I don't know enough to comment on it, but Christian says Russian. What's up? Might be wrong. Russia is Iggy's going live in the Nashville No Kings. Follow Iggy. Iggy's going live. Let me get his channel. He's going live with the No King stuff. Be safe, man. That's number 1. Is he streaming it on YouTube too? Let me see if I can get get whatever Iggy's streaming, if he's streaming now. I mean, all these the street people, street reporters, they're all putting their lives on the line. But I think I got to get out of here. Let me see. I'm going to check real quick, see if my wife texted me. Yeah. All right. I gotta get out. I got a lot to do. So sorry for the abrupt ending. But good to see you. Might be wrong. I'm out.